Let's talk about Michigan, because I think this is a game that we could talk about for a long time.
Yeah.
Of course, SC lost to Michigan earlier in the season, or last year, 27-24. It was a game SC probably should have won. I think like
100%
even
should have won.
Yeah, I think Michigan fans could even agree with that. Michigan went 8-5 last year. Kind of an impressive record for a team that didn't really have a quarterback, if we're being honest. Davis Warren, Alex Orji were both just not very good QBs. They were also not very they were system QBs for that system that ran the ball a lot. But now you bring in a guy like Bryce Underwood, who has the potential to be, a future Heisman winner, a future first-round pick. And so, of course, a lot of losses for Michigan.
Prediction for a guy who has not stepped on the field yet.
I mean, come on, he's a 5-star QB. Those guys always have those types of expectations.
That's fair.
Come on, people are saying the same thing about Longstreet. It's
what? No one is saying that about. With all due respect to USC's future quarterback, nobody is saying that.
Nobody's saying future first round pick, Heisman, contender. Come on, it's a 5-star QB. That's a textbook spot to be in for that.
He's not on the same pedestal as Underwood, in my opinion.
I'd agree with that, but I think, being a 5-star QB makes you it gives you that sort of title over other players. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's true.
I think Underwood is a guy like that. He's a do-it-all quarterback, and I think he's going to be very, very good for Michigan. But we can't talk about Michigan without talking about their losses, because they lose 2 blue chip key players on the defensive side, or 3 on the defensive side, but 2 on the defensive line. Kenneth Grant, Mason Graham, and then Will Johnson. You also lose Colston Loveland, Miles Hinton on the O-line. There's others as well I'm missing, but those are the main ones I've identified.
Yeah, those are all 3 of those guys you mentioned on the defensive side, Grant, Graham, and Johnson, were all huge in their win over USC. Obviously, Johnson had the pick 6, but Graham and Grant were in the backfield. It felt like every single possession. Miller Moss was under pressure the entire time. It's massive losing those. I am more focused. I think Michigan's going to be completely fine on the defensive side. I am really intrigued by what they're going to be on offense, though, because it feels really different from last year.
100%, because you lose Kalel Mullings, you lose Donovan Edwards. They're bringing in the Alabama transfer Justice Haynes at running back.
I think he's going to be really good, to be honest.
Yeah, really high ceiling. Hasn't shown much yet in his college career, but really high ceiling. And I don't know if he's as I don't know. I would ask you, do you think Kalel Mullings against USC
he went crazy?
I don't know if we see a game like that, on the road for Justice Haynes. Maybe we do. But I think the biggest thing for Michigan is they'll be able to pass the ball now. Last year, it was rough seeing a guy like Alex Orji against SC. I'm seeing a comment in the chat right now as well. The referees were pretty bad in that game.
That is very true. I kind of just refuse to. I kind of just refuse to acknowledge referees blowing calls is the thing, because it just happens is the thing. It just happens in every game. Take a look at the Nebraska game from last year for USC. There was very much a pass interference on the final play that was to the end zone that was intercepted. So I'm not going to complain about that is the thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I never tend to blame the refs for a game like that, but also at the same time, looking at how many 1-score losses SC had on the road last year, I don't know, it came into play. But I think this is a win for USC. I think the reason why they lost to Michigan was they couldn't stop the run last year, and now with a better D line, with a weaker backfield for Michigan, I think they can win this game. I think Bryce Underwood is going to be hard to stop, and he's going to probably have some home run type plays on USC secondary. But I think SC wins this game by 6 points.
Yeah, I do actually agree that this is going to be a win. I think just the home versus away it's just astronomically different is the thing. I do think are we sure that Bryce Underwood's going to be throwing the ball? That you bring in Mikey Keene from Fresno State, a very solid quarterback for the Bulldogs. Do we know? I was talking about this earlier with a friend. There's not a lot of times where a freshman quarterback comes in and he's just that fantastic, who is a true game changer Obviously, we saw Lagway this year at Florida. He was great, but the team didn't win that much.
Dylan Raiola, I'd argue. I mean, the team wasn't that good.
Nebraska went what, 6-6 or 7-5? He wasn't a game changer.
Well, okay, they went 7-6, including the bowl. Which I'd say for a guy like for a team that wasn't really that good around Raiola, like I think that's pretty good.
It's solid. I don't think you can expect a guy to come in like a freshman though. Obviously it's 7 games into the year. I don't think you're going to come in and expect him to beat like a USC type team on the road.
I'd agree. Yeah, and that's why I have USC winning. But like, if Underwood play, like, I don't know. Like, we have no way to know if he's going to start. But it seems like he is. Like all the media is saying, oh, he's trending. He's looking so good in practice. So I don't know. But I do like Mikey Keene as well. So I don't know. That's a tough question.
I think it's possible that Michigan throws him in. I mean, obviously, Larry Ellison and Dave Portnoy threw $12 million at this kid to stay home in Michigan. I think it's possible that the coaching staff maybe feels pressured to throw him in too early, and he's not ready. Look at Dante Moore at UCLA 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. The way I look at it is if Mikey Keene plays, SC wins this game pretty easily. I think, like, at home, you're playing a QB that, while he's good, his team was terrible last year in Mikey Keene. Yeah. If Underwood plays, I think it's closer. Like I said, I think it's a 6-point game. Yeah. But
who's he throwing the ball to, though? There's no one at Michigan who has real experience is the thing at actually catching the ball. Obviously, Colson Loveland was fantastic this year. They didn't have that many great receivers. It's the same people as last year for Michigan. They're going to be – I think they're just going to be running the ball.
But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Loveland played against SC last year. Did he? Was he hurt?
No, I don't think he did. He was still won. Yeah, you're not wrong.
But also, like you mentioned, the defense, like Will Johnson gets a pick 6. That's the difference, right? Yeah. Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant were destroying Miller Moss the entire game. I want to say he was sacked 7 times. I don't know the number.
Yeah, it was something crazy like that. You're 100% right.
Yeah. So I think you lose some game records on defense, but you add in, a good running, like a serviceable running back to fill in the shoes of Mullings and Edwards. I think Mullings obviously the bigger piece you're losing there. I don't know. I think this game is very hard to predict because we don't know what's going to happen at QB. But I think either way, I see SC winning. That's my closing thoughts.
I do agree. You can go either way. I do think USC wins this, especially it's coming off a bye after, in my opinion, what would be a loss to Illinois, as I said earlier. So I do think it's possible that they're coming motivated. You're well rested, all sorts of that stuff, and you motivate and you beat a Michigan team who beat you, as we said, a little bit controversially, but beat them nonetheless last year in Ann Arbor. So